Why women repeat patterns with men who hurt them. Have you ever noticed that even after swearing, "never again," many women end up choosing the same type of man who made them suffer? That friend who leaves the cheater only to find another cheater. The woman who escapes the emotionally unavailable man only to fall for another one who can't commit. Freud said this isn't bad luck, it's an invisible script that the unconscious repeats until you understand it and change it. Before we dive deep into this psychological mystery, hit subscribe if you want to understand your mind and discover what Freud uncovered about our hidden patterns. Like this video and ring the bell, because understanding yourself is the first step to freedom. Let me tell you about Sarah, a fictional character, but one you might recognize. Sarah grew up with a father who was brilliant, charismatic, but emotionally cold. He would shower her with attention when she achieved something, then disappear into his work for weeks. She learned that love meant working hard for scraps of affection. At 25, Sarah falls for David, charming, successful, but emotionally unavailable. She spends 3 years trying to earn his love. When he finally leaves her for someone else, she's devastated. "Never again," she promises herself. "Next time, I'll choose someone different." 2 years later, Sarah meets Michael. He seems completely different from David. He's artistic instead of corporate, sensitive instead of cold. But guess what? Michael is also emotionally unavailable. He loves her when he's in the mood and disappears when she needs him most. Sarah is confused. She asks herself, how did I end up here again? They're completely different men. But here's what Sarah doesn't see, and what Freud would immediately recognize. Different faces, same emotional script. The Freudian explanation. What is repetition compulsion? Freud discovered something disturbing about the human psyche. We don't just avoid pain. Sometimes we unconsciously recreate it. He called this repetition compulsion. Think of it like this. Your unconscious mind is like a director who keeps staging the same play, casting different actors, but following the exact same script. The scenery changes, the costumes are different, but the story? Always the same. The unconscious detective. Your unconscious works like a detective with a very specific case to solve. It's not looking for healthy love, it's looking for familiar love. And familiar often means recreating the emotional landscape of your earliest relationships. If love felt like chasing, your unconscious will find someone to chase. If love felt like proving your worth, you'll find someone who makes you prove it. If love felt conditional, you'll unconsciously choose people who make love feel conditional. The childhood blueprint. Freud believed our romantic patterns are written in childhood. That first relationship with a parent or caregiver becomes the template, the unconscious blueprint for what love should feel like. Sarah's father taught her that love equals working for approval. So her unconscious keeps casting men who make her work for approval. David the businessman, Michael the artist, different characters, same emotional role. Why it's so hard to break the cycle. The false sense of control. Here's the cruel irony. We repeat these patterns because the unconscious believes it can control them this time. It's like watching the same movie over and over, hoping for a different ending. Sarah unconsciously thinks, if I can make Michael love me consistently, I'll finally prove I'm lovable. I'll heal that wound my father left. But here's what Freud understood. You can't heal the past by recreating it in the present. The comfort of the known. Even painful patterns feel safer than the unknown. Your unconscious mind prefers familiar suffering over unfamiliar joy. It's like staying in a bad neighborhood because at least you know which streets to avoid. Healthy, available love can actually feel boring or too easy to someone trapped in repetition compulsion. The unconscious whispers, if he's this interested in me, there must be something wrong with him. The fantasy of resolution. Every time you enter the same pattern, your unconscious is running a fantasy. This time will be different. This time I'll win. This time I'll get the love I needed. It's like a gambler who can't stop playing because they're sure the next hand will be the winning one. The unconscious becomes addicted to the possibility of finally winning love from someone who can't give it. Practical examples. Recognizing the pattern. The red flags you ignore. Your unconscious is incredibly skilled at finding people who fit your pattern while convincing your conscious mind they're different. The selection process. You meet 10 people. 9 are emotionally available and genuinely interested in you. Your unconscious will make you feel no chemistry with all 9. The 10th person, the emotionally unavailable one who reminds you of your original wound? Instant attraction. Chemistry. The justification. Your conscious mind creates stories. I like a challenge. I don't want someone too eager. I need someone independent. But underneath, your unconscious is just following the old script. The early warning signs. You find yourself working harder for their attention than they work for yours. You feel like you're auditioning for the role of girlfriend rather than being chosen. You catch yourself thinking, if only I could make them see how good we could be together. You feel more anxious than peaceful in the relationship. You're attracted to their potential rather than their reality. The cycle in action. Phase 1, the hope. This one is different. Phase 2, the pattern emerges, same emotional unavailability, different packaging. Phase 3, the struggle, working harder to make them love you. Phase 4, the end, they leave or you leave, exhausted. Phase 5, the promise, never again. Phase 6, repeat. The Freudian solution. Step 1, recognize the pattern. Freud said the first step isn't changing your behavior, it's making the unconscious conscious. You need to see the pattern clearly. Ask yourself, what type of person do I consistently attract? What role do I always play in relationships? How did love feel in my childhood? What am I trying to prove or heal through my romantic choices? Step 2, revisit the original wound. This is where Freud's approach becomes powerful. You can't heal what you won't face. That original wound, the one your relationships keep trying to heal, needs to be acknowledged and processed. For Sarah, this means grieving the father who couldn't give consistent love. Not the father she wished she had, but accepting the reality of the father she did have, and how that shaped her understanding of love. Step 3, understand your unconscious casting director. Your unconscious has very specific criteria for choosing partners. It's like a casting director who only auditions actors for one type of role. You need to understand what your unconscious is looking for and why. Sarah's unconscious casting call reads, seeking emotionally unavailable men who will make love feel like an achievement. Must be capable of intermittent reinforcement. Genuine availability need not apply. Step 4, develop new neural pathways. Freud believed that insight alone wasn't enough. You need to practice new emotional responses. This is like teaching your unconscious a new script. When you meet someone emotionally available, instead of feeling no chemistry, you practice staying present with the discomfort of unfamiliar safety. You literally train your nervous system to recognize healthy love as desirable. Step 5, the work of analysis. Freud recommended psychoanalysis, but the principle applies to any deep self-reflection work. Free association. Write without censoring yourself about your relationship patterns. Dream analysis. Pay attention to relationship themes in your dreams. Transference work. Notice how you relate to authority figures. This often mirrors your romantic patterns. Repetition recognition. When you feel that familiar pull towards someone, pause and ask, what does this remind me of? The deeper truth. Why we resist healthy love. Here's something Freud understood that's hard to accept. We don't just want love, we want to earn the specific love we didn't get. A woman who grew up with a critical mother doesn't just want acceptance. She wants to win over someone critical. A woman who had an absent father doesn't just want presence. She wants to capture someone elusive. This is why healthy, available partners can feel too easy. Your unconscious thinks, if they love me without me working for it, it doesn't count. It doesn't heal the original wound. The paradox of healing. The cruel paradox is that you can only heal the wound by not trying to heal it through romantic relationships. You have to do the healing work first, independently. Only then can you choose partners from a place of wholeness rather than woundedness. Breaking the trance. Repetition compulsion is like being in a trance. You're sleepwalking through the same relationship over and over, convinced each time that you're awake and making different choices. Breaking the trance requires what Freud called working through, repeatedly recognizing the pattern until your unconscious finally gets bored of the same old script and becomes open to writing a new one. Practical steps for change. The Freudian Toolkit. 1. Pattern mapping. Create a written map of your relationship patterns. List your last 5 romantic interests and identify the common emotional thread. 2. Childhood archaeology. Explore your earliest models of love. What did you learn about how to get attention, affection, and approval? 3. Unconscious interview. When you feel attracted to someone new, ask your unconscious, what are you hoping to achieve with this person? What are you trying to prove or heal? 4. Discomfort practice. When you meet someone emotionally available, practice sitting with the discomfort instead of running toward unavailability. 5. The pause technique. When you feel that familiar chemistry with someone who fits your pattern, pause for 48 hours before making any romantic decisions. Rewriting your love script. Remember, your unconscious has been following the same script for years, maybe decades. Rewriting it takes time and patience. You're literally rewiring your brain's understanding of what love looks like. The goal isn't to avoid all challenging people. It's to choose challenges that help you grow rather than patterns that keep you stuck. The freedom in understanding. Freud gave us a radical idea. We're not victims of our patterns. We're unconscious architects of them. And if we built these patterns unconsciously, we can rebuild them consciously. Sarah's story doesn't have to end with Michael. Once she understands her repetition compulsion, she can start making different choices. Not perfect choices, conscious ones. The next time she feels that familiar pull toward emotional unavailability, she'll recognize it as her unconscious trying to stage the same old play, and she can choose not to audition for that role anymore. The real love story. The most important love story isn't between you and someone else. It's between your conscious and unconscious mind. When these two parts of yourself start working together instead of against each other, that's when real change becomes possible. Your unconscious stops being a saboteur and becomes an ally. Instead of casting the same painful characters in your life, it starts looking for partners who can love the real you, not just the wounded parts of you. So, what do you think? Does this help you understand those mysterious patterns in your own relationships? Have you recognized yourself in this cycle of repetition? Freud believed that understanding your unconscious was the path to freedom. Not easy freedom, conscious freedom. Comment below and tell me, what pattern do you keep repeating that you want to understand better? I read every comment, and your story might help someone else recognize their own pattern. If this video helped you see something new about yourself, share it with someone who might need to hear this message. And remember, the first step to changing any pattern is seeing it clearly. Until next time, keep exploring what makes you, you.